Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Today, let's take a look at some keyboard shortcuts for Safari. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So when browsing in Safari, it's handy to know some keyboard shortcuts to quickly get to the content that you want. For instance, when you're viewing a page and you want to go to a new one, you would normally go to the top where you see the address bar, click there, and then you can type in a new address or a search term. But there's a keyboard shortcut for that as well. You could just press Command L, and not only does it move the text cursor to the address bar, but it selects everything. So if you start typing right now, then it'll replace it with whatever new address or search term you want. When you browse and you go from one page to another and then perhaps to another, then you want to go back, you can click the back button here at the top left. But a quick keyboard shortcut for that is the Command key and then the left square bracket key. Use that to go back, and you can use Command and the right square bracket key to go forward. Now to close a tab, you could click the little button here to the left of the name of the tab, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Command W. If you accidentally close a tab or change your mind afterwards, you can use the keyboard shortcut Shift Command T to reopen the previous tab. But you could also use Command Z to do that. Notice if I use Command W to close this tab, then go to Edit, then Command Z, Undo, changes to Undo Close Tab. So I can use Command Z for the same thing. To get to various tabs, you can just use Command and the number. So Command 1 will take you to the first tab, Command 2 will take you to the second tab, and so on, all the way up to Command 8. Command 9 will work to take you to the last tab, no matter how many tabs there are. Now if you just want to cycle through the tabs, you can use the Control key, that's Control not Command, and then the Tab key on your keyboard. And that will cycle through and loop through all of the tabs. Add the Shift key to that and it goes backwards. Now when you have a long page like this, you can use the up and down arrow keys to scroll approximately one line at a time. But if you want to jump faster, you can use the page up and page down keys to jump one page at a time. Now if your Mac doesn't have page up and page down keys, which is very likely as no MacBooks have that, then you could substitute the FN key on your keyboard and then down and up as page down and page up. Now you can also scroll to the end of a page using the N key on your keyboard or the Home key on your keyboard. Of course, if you don't have those keys, then there is a substitution. You can use the FN key and then the right key for end and the left key for home. Now Safari also allows you to use the Command key and then the down arrow or up arrow for end and home. Now often when you're viewing a large page like an article, you may want to find information on the page itself. So you want to search the page. You don't want to search the internet for a new page. You want to search for the text on the current page. You can do this using the keyboard shortcut Command F. This will open up a new small toolbar which mostly has things to the right. And you can search here. Notice the text cursor is already there blinking, so you can just start typing something to search. But you can also switch between contains and begins with. Let's search here for a word like that, and you can see there are 74 matches here. So it automatically jumps to the first one. If I were to continue to press return, it jumps to each one in turn. But you could also use Command G to go to the next one, and Shift Command G will go to the previous one. So you can search through the page for every occurrence of that search term. And while the special toolbar is open, you can use Shift Command F to close it. Now sometimes you may want to read articles in a nicer format. You can do that with the Reader view. It's under View and then Show Reader, and the keyboard shortcut is Shift Command R. That'll take you into Reader view, and you can use Shift Command R to get out of it as well. Now whether or not you're in Reader view, you can always increase the size of elements on the page with Command and then either the plus or minus keys. So you can see it increases the size of everything or decreases the size of everything. If you ever want to get back to the normal size, just use Command 0. Now you could also leave the images the same size and just change the text. To do that, add Option to this. So Command Option and then plus, and you can see the images stay the same size but the text changes. And then just use Command 0 to change everything back to its normal size. So when you search for something and use the address bar to do it, then you'll get search results in your default search engine. You could then go to a page and maybe continue to jump to other pages as well. And if you ever want to get back to the search results, you could use the back key multiple times or Command and then left square bracket multiple times to get there. But you could also go and use search results snapback or Option Command S. That will take you right back to the search results page no matter how far away you got from it. Now if you look in your bookmarks, you're always going to have a favorites folder. And the first 9 items in the favorites folder will have keyboard shortcuts assigned to them. They have to be regular items, not folders. So you can see the first 4 items here, and it's Option Command 1, 2, 3, and 4 to take me to each of those. So it's easy to get to those pages. Matter of fact, make those first 9 favorites pages you commonly go to, and then you automatically have keyboard shortcuts to take you there. In addition, you can also use Command Shift and then H to go to your home page. And you set up your Safari homepage by going to Safari, Settings, and then under General, look for Homepage. And you can put any URL for any page you want there. And then the keyboard shortcut, Shift Command H, will take you to that page. And finally, if you do want to look at your bookmarks, there are so many different ways to do it. You can go to the Bookmarks menu and look at all the submenus there. You could go to View and then Show Bookmarks Sidebar, and then it's there. Same thing if you go to Bookmarks, Show Bookmarks, it brings that up. But the problem with all of those is you can only jump to bookmarks. You can't edit them or manage them in any way. If you go to Bookmarks and then Edit Bookmarks, then you not only get a way to edit and arrange your bookmarks, but you could also jump to any one you want. Just double click one and it takes you there. So it's kind of the ultimate view of your bookmarks, and the keyboard shortcut to get there is simply Option Command B. So if you like working with bookmarks, just use Option Command B for everything, whether you want to jump to a bookmark or edit a bookmark, delete it, rearrange them, or whatever. I hope you found all these keyboard shortcuts useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.